Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Cryptoware, and today we are going to solve another Crack Me challenge. So here the one that I have chosen is my test, so you can check in latest Crack Me's. You do not have to log in to any to the account. You can just access it without logging into this. You can go to latest Crack Me's and you will see the fourth number is this. Now it totally depends on when are you going to access it, like when are you going to solve this challenge, and there are plenty of other challenges also. So what I have chosen is difficulty level 2. The platform is Windows and the quality is pretty much nice and the architecture is 64-bit. I'll share the link and details of this Crack Me, and this is a great Crack Me challenge and very nicely focused on beginners. And I'm mostly focused on the beginners also because we are learning here how to do reverse engineering challenges in the simplest way possible, and that is somehow going to help us with our malware analysis also, because getting into the bigger sample, malware would be a bigger sample or in size as compared to these Crack Me challenges. So we are preparing ourselves as well. So let's get started. So I have already downloaded it and here it is. So the first thing first that we are going to do is we'll see how it executes. So before, what we observed that I'll just put test123 over here, and password would be ABC456. So what we had observed that this Crack Me links were not working. I think the link was not accessible, but now it is accessible, so you can check it out now. So what we observed that it asks for login password, it asks for some credentials which we are not aware of, and apart from that it does not show us anything on the screen. So we'll directly open it in x64 debugger. It is a 64-bit application. Also you can use ida or whichever debugger you are comfortable with. The process remains more or less the same. It's just how you're doing it. Okay, so here we will again follow the same approach that we have been following before. So we'll right click, search for all user modules and string references. So here you can see that it is giving login password and there is something access granted denied. So what we will do, we'll set breakpoints to all these. So I've selected all of them all together and I've just added breakpoints to them. And what we are expecting right now, and it's a very simple challenge, so what we are expecting is once we execute it we will be able to see the login, we'll get a chance to see, like we'll see that we have to enter something. It will take some login id from us, username and password. So it will take some username as an input and then password, and I'll be able to see that what is happening behind, basically in the debugger, how is it doing the calculation. So we have to identify the username and password. Also we can bypass that, but we have done that bypass thing before. It's better that we try to identify the credentials from here. So let's just run, and okay, it ran and we are in return. Okay, there is some debug break. So there could be a possibility of the usage of debugger, maybe. So in that case I will not suggest us, so it is just wandering between these two. So we will reload, and we can use, we can set breakpoint at is debugger present, but I don't know, I'm not sure if there are any other uh, functions that have been used for checking debugger. So we will just go one step at a time now. So we'll follow a lot of step overs and step intos, and we'll get into all the function calls and see what is happening. So it will also give us an idea of how is the function, I mean, how is the application running. Now, at this point, we may see a lot of interesting things. For example, here we are seeing some kind of move operation has been used, and there is something over here which is getting moved to RBX. But we are not going to get into that as of now. Right now, we have to just understand the flow. How is the application running when seen through a debugger? what are different options. We are not going to do anything right now. We just need to understand the flow, and that is the reason we have set up. We are performing a lot of using a lot of step overs and step intos, and also based on that we will see where we need to put our breakpoints next. So let's just keep going. We'll just see what is there. Okay, there will be a number of step overs and step intos, which is totally fine because this application is not that big. But I must tell you, for proper malware analysis, we might have to do a lot of things. Like it will take a lot of time if you are going to do step overs and step intos, because you will have to do that to identify what is happening. Now, here we can see some XOR functions have been used. Let's keep that in our mind that yes, there are some XORs which are used, maybe or maybe not. We require that later, but we'll keep that in mind. If it requires, we know where we have to come back to. If you want, you can set a breakpoint over here, but right now I'm not putting any breakpoint until and unless I feel that it's really important for this. So let's just go. There's some comparison that is happening. Let's just observe. We will also look at the stack and everywhere, like we'll look at the registers, we will look at the stack, we'll see what all details that can be found, if there is anything interesting that we can see. So let's keep going. After doing some step overs and step intos, we observe that there is a call to argv and argc. So we also know that we saw that C++ has been used. So these are the operators or functions that are used whenever we are taking arguments. So one is the count of the number of arguments that we are taking from the command line, and the v, like argc is for the count and argv is for the value, like what is the argument over there. So we can see that yes, the debugger actually talks about, sorry, the sample actually talks about how it is going to take input, what are the inputs that it needs to take. So those calls are already over there, but why are we not seeing those calls? So let us do some more step overs and step intos. We can step over these two, we don't have to get into them, but for this function call we will definitely go step into. And here we can see that is debugger is present, so we'll set up a breakpoint over here, and this is the debug break that we had observed most probably. And here you can see that close handle and everything is mentioned. So this is the point, so it is checking for the presence of a debugger. So we can directly put, set breakpoints using BP is debugger present. You can definitely do that. And in majority of the cases, whenever we are analyzing a malicious sample, at that point of time, we actually do that directly instead of going through one step at a time. Since this is a reverse engineering challenge and the application is supposedly smaller in size as compared to a real malicious application, so we can actually uh, we can actually prefer doing this. It is something that we should be able to do it. So never mind, let's keep going. We can directly click on run also. We have, so as we had discussed before also, like with is debugger present, it gives us the return value over here in the EAX register will actually tell you with the value whether it is 0 or non-zero. If it is 0, it means that there's no presence of debugger, and if it is non-zero, then there is a presence of debugger. So that's what we are going to do that. So we'll be making that change over here. So I'll execute till return, and we see that the value is 1, which means that there is a presence of debugger. So we'll just change it to 0 and we'll click on OK, and we will run as usual. We are not going to directly run because we don't know what else is there. And yes, we bypassed that debug break, and we have bypassed all these also. Okay, so what we can do is we already have set breakpoints to some of the options. So if we run directly, there would be two chances. Either we are actually getting to that login or password thing, or else there's some other checks where we will be able to identify like what other checks are there. So it is going to take some time. So instead of checking one step at a time right now, we can directly identify whether we have to look for some other checks or not. So I'll just directly run, and yes, we have reached somewhere. Is there any update over here? No. Okay, I'll run again. And okay, we have bypassed that. So that there was only one check, and we are in the login password phase over here. So no problem. This time we can directly run, maybe we can see what is there. Okay, so it is showing login. So maybe I'll put anything random over here, like test 123 mostly, or something which I'll put shoe over here. Login. And okay, and for password also I'll put shoe 123. Okay, and we ran this, and okay, there is another debug break. Okay, so there is another is debugger option, it looks like. So never mind. We'll again have to follow the same steps, and at this point also, if you want, we can set breakpoint over there. But we will try to do it again, but this time it will not take a lot of time for us. So I've reloaded the application, the challenge, and we are here at is debugger present. We'll step into execute till return, and in the RAX, we'll just change the value to 0. And we'll click on OK and then run again. And we have gotten to the login part. We'll again put the same thing, shoe. Again, shoe, 123. Now this time, okay. So we do not need to put, what I think is we do not have to enter at that point of time. So maybe we'll have to set some breakpoints. Let's try it again. And we'll follow the same steps. Sometimes it happens, it takes a while, but we need to identify what is the issue over here. We cannot continue all the time. So at this point, it is my mistake that we do not need to continue. So I'll just write shrew, and I'll just okay. So here is the password. I'll put okay. Here is the is debugger present that we missed, and I'll set a breakpoint over here. So that was the mistake that we did. So never mind. We have identified the issue where we had to set our breakpoint. So okay, let's continue, and here we'll put test. And this is where the check is happening, is debugger present. So there are two as of now. I don't know if we have any more. So we'll step into execute till return, and we'll change the value to 0 again as usual that we have been doing previously. And should I run, or maybe I'll just step over? I just want to see what is happening. Okay. So now we have bypassed all the debugger features. So we are going one step at a time, and we'll keep an eye also over this command line, what is happening, because we also need to look for the password now. But before that, yes, this is the is debugger present, and we have to look for the password because we are pretty sure that that is not the password that we have added. So what we will do is we will check, we'll put some breakpoints on some compare options, because we know that these comparisons are always done, right? These comparisons are important, and from there only we'll be able to identify there are more comparisons, I believe. So we'll set a breakpoint over there. Also, there is access granted, access denied. So let's just run right now because we'll have to reload again, and we have been to access denied. Yes. Okay, so let's reload it again and let's get back to what let's get back to identifying what the username and password is. So we have also set up some breakpoints and some compare operations, but what we are going to do right now is instead of uh, continuing the um, uh, like clicking on the continue option, we will again go for the step overs and step intos right now, because we need to now identify the password and the, I guess, the username also, the login. So let's solve this. Is debugger present, get into execute till return, change the value. Now there are ways how you can actually bypass this without performing all those things. There are features over here, like in the advanced section, hide debugger, all those things. So if you want, you can try them all, try them out as well. That is not an issue. I am not doing that as of now. Okay, so let's take input. So I'll put shrew as the login. I'll put password as shruti, or maybe something different so that I can identify where which check is being happening. I should have probably changed the length also. Anyways, let's see. Because a lot of times they look for length also, length of the password or username. Okay. This time we'll just follow step over. And yes, we have bypassed that part. XOR. Now there is a comparison. PF against RBX. So RBX is 5. So as I had correctly set, and its jump not equal to, where is it jumping to? So there is a comparison of some length, I believe, and it is comparing against 5. It is jumping over here. Let's see, let us make the jump and see what is happening, where the check is happening. Okay, we'll just continue, and we are here, access, and it's denied. So the check is for 5. So mostly what I am guessing is that it is looking for, because login ID or the username is mentioned first. So I'm assuming that the login ID has to be, or the username has to be of 5 characters. So okay, we'll do that. We'll again follow the same steps. We'll step into is debugger present, make the changes. Yes, you can do that through plugins. There are options, but I am not doing that. And you can always choose to do that. Okay, so this time the login that ID that I have to put should be of 5 characters. So maybe I'll put anything. Test 1 could be one thing. Now I'm assuming that for password also there has to be a length, but nothing is mentioned. So here I'll just write shrew. Okay, now we must have stopped at is debugger present. Step into. Okay, so we'll change it. And okay, no problem. So there's, thankfully we moved to the comparison part. So previously what we observed, that it was comparing it against 5. Here you can see. So if we are right, if the length of the ID should be 5, login ID, then it should not jump over here. It should go to this comparison, and I think there are two comparisons. It means that it is looking for the password, if that is what I'm guessing correctly right now. So okay, the jump is not taken, and yes, there's another comparison against RSI, and RSI says 8. So I'm assuming that the length of the password should be 8. So if that is not the case, because I think it is just 4 and it is not at all 8, So if I click on this, it will jump, and let's see where is it jumping. And it will jump. Okay, I'll just click on continue and access denied. So we have identified that the length of the login ID is 5 and the length of the password is 8. So let's reload it again and let's put the correct length this time. So following the same steps, and we'll just it will not take a lot of time. Okay, so we have to enter the login. So I'll just put anything of letter 5. So it will be test 1. It's of 5 characters. And for password, I need 8. So I'll put shrew 1, 2, 3, 4. It is of 8 characters. Now let's see how is the comparison happening. Okay, we have to bypass this also. And let's click. And okay, we can continue. So the comparison is happening rbx against 5, which is fine, so it is not jumping. Comparison rsi against 8, and let's see, is no, so the jump is not happening. Now let's see over here at what point it is checking the actual password or actual login. So it is going through both the checks. So let's see. Okay, here we can see that in RAX we have this admin, which is of 5 letters. So could be that admin is the password. Let's just see, is the comparison happening? Yes. So test 1 is getting compared against admin. So we know the login ID is admin now. And it is checking here each character. See. Okay, let's just continue. And okay, so we have gotten the password, sorry, login ID directly. If it does not work, we'll see again. Okay, so let's try again. Since this is a very small program, so I'm not actually like using any tools, and I don't always prefer doing that anyway because I enjoy doing this, to be honest. So I'll put admin, which is a 5 characters length, and let's see for the password. Okay, shrew 1 2 3 4. Now we must have stopped at is debugger present. Step into. So maybe later we can have a session where I'm actually explaining about different tools. That will be something very interesting. So we do not have to keep continuing. We will just see that how the comparison is happening. We have bypassed the comparison correctly. Let's see how the login ID is compared. Admin is getting compared against admin. Perfect. So we are we will have to wait for a while over here because we need to look for the password now. We cannot directly, leave it till here. And since it is of 5 characters, so we can actually, do this manually. But there are ways you can, how you can do it without using much manual effort. So we have reached to the end part. Yes. Now there has to be the other test, which is specific to the password. And here it is. Okay, the shrew 1 2 3 4 is the one that I had put, and it should be compared against password. So the password is password, is it? um I guess so. This is something we could have directly performed a dictionary attack. We didn't even have to do reverse engineering, it looks like. Anyway, let's try that again. If it does not work, we'll figure out maybe we have been in a rabbit hole or something. But let's see. We have found something, so it like we should definitely try to identify what is it. Like it's okay to check that. Okay. Okay. So admin and password. Other one, is it, is debugger present? I'll get into here. We'll change it to 0. Okay. This time let's just continue. If it does not work, it will not work. We will identify. So if it does not work, we know that we have to look for the password now. Okay, so that's totally fine. And okay, it worked. Access granted. I don't know if we will be able to see that over here. Can we see that? I don't think so because it will close. Yeah. So never mind. We can do some kind of patching over here also so that we can actually see access granted over here, but not at all a problem. We were looking for the user ID password and we successfully found that without bypassing any access granted or access denied thingy. And apart from that, we have also seen that how the same check is debugger present check has been used here, and that was a very interesting way to use it. So there will be few other things that are in mind that I'll try to bring apart from just reverse engineering challenges. And before moving to the advanced part or intermediate part, there are a lot of things in the basics itself that we need to discuss about. The basics are not that basics also, but we will learn it in a way that it becomes very much interesting for us and we can actually, solve it in a very simpler way. So I'll soon start some playlists also where I'll discuss about different evasion techniques, different persistence techniques, and we will learn about them uh, while analyzing some more malware samples also. So stay tuned. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And let me know if you have any kinds of doubt, any questions, any suggestions. Please mention in the comment section below. And if you want to try this challenge out all by yourself, you can totally follow this. I'll share all the links in the description. So thank you so much. See you in the next session.